YouTube.com, and we're here with Kai Kamaka from his home in Oahu. Kai-san, Kaiboy Kamaka, as we all know, is one of Hawaii's top MMA athletes, who has actually just signed a pretty big deal. One of the bigger promotions in Asia. Kai, talk a little bit about what happened. Who Kaiboy signed with, and a little bit more about what we can expect.
Kai signed with PXC, Pacific Extreme Combat League, out in was home base in Guam. It came about maybe like right after Kai won the Destiny MMA 135 title. Me and EJ Calvo was talking over emails, and he said he went on the record saying officially if Kai ever wanted to sign, and he was ready to sign, that PXC would embrace him and build him up and make a home for him.
No.
So with that,
no, go ahead. I'm sorry. Go ahead. Continue.
And so with that, that was kind of on our mind in the back burner, but at that time too, Kai was just coming off a offer, winning the high school state championship wrestling title, and coming off an offer with for Midland University for a wrestling scholarship. So, basically our focus was, just keep training and go to college and get his degree and have fighting be there while waiting for him. He's been training since he was 6 years old. His very first fight was 7 years old out in a show called Chaos out in Maui, one of Maui's first shows. And then that's pretty much what his lifestyle has been since the time he was born. So it was something that it was in our minds, but it was nothing that we pondered on because it's just we knew that he had to finish school, and school's a priority for him, and it's kind of that's where the road led.
Being that Kaiboy started MMA at such a young age, is this where you always thought he would end up? Is this was this part of the goal all this time?
No, actually, that wasn't part of his goal. Actually, he wanted to be a football player. So he played football 6 to 7 months out of the year, and then they would wrestle, youth wrestling for the next 3 to 4 months, and then fight in between that. But still constantly he was training every day because we were going to the gym every day. So he still was either training or doing some type of MMA stuff or kickboxing or wrestling. But ultimately, he was actually just when he wanted to be more of a football player, and then it got into high school that kind of faded out where he only wrestled. And a lot of guys thought that that's all they did, but that's not basically all they did. They played football majority of the time, and then did the wrestling and the kickboxing on sporadically. They don't. A lot of people think that they train wrestling all year. They do not train wrestling or stuff all year. They actually train more football than they did anything. But this path that he's led to, it's the fighting scheme. So now it's a path that we had goals for him to get athletic scholarships, and that was our main focus was cutting costs of college and trying to get an athletic scholarship. And we're fortunate enough for both of my sons. Tristan just recently getting a football scholarship from 2 schools. And he'll probably, in fact, we will sign on Friday. And then with Kai getting a wrestling scholarship, now that they got their goals, they've accomplished those goals. Now it's time for them to make their decisions on specifically what they want to do. So now Tristan's choosing just to do football. Kai wants to wrestle in college and still have his career that supports what he does, And he is the starting 133 pounder at Midland University, So which is pretty huge on itself, to be a freshman to come in there and to start in a 4-year college, So it's stuff that we didn't plan for, but we chose a few different athletic paths, and then it kind of fell into place where it did, and that's where we are right now.
No, Kai, how long do you see Kaiboy staying active in MMA? How long do you see him just fighting?
For me, as a dad, projecting wise, I would like to see him walk away from MMA at about the age of 28. I know it seems like a young age, but for somebody like him that's been competing for so long, I think when by the time he gets in there, he's already there. He's starting it. That's a 10-year span from now to the time that I'm thinking. But that's probably something you have to ask him and see what he's projection of. But for me, as a parent or his dad, I would like to see him walk away with everything intact at 28. And shoot for the stars. And try to accomplish everything that he has set forth for him as far as goals wise, and then walk away and still be able to impart in other people and give back what the training and the sport is given to him, and be able to impart in people. I don't want to see him fighting forever. Basically, just kind of get in there, do your thing, accomplish your goals, and leave with everything intact. And leave it with a good reputation, a credible reputation, and just making a investment for the fighters from Hawaii, just to help establish a foundation that, we come from a lineage of warriors, and just having value in everything that he did in the sport. I think that's, for me, that would be my goals for him to accomplish in his journey.
Now, how, if anything, is this going to affect his college? I mean, being that he signed a 6-fight deal, is it going to be college and MMA kind of full time? How is this really going to play out?
Wrestling season will be wrestling season. He'll focus on wrestling season. He's actually on off season wrestling is where he's gonna fit in his fighting, and we're looking at maybe 1 to 2 fights a year, depending on what type of fight and how he comes out. There is a possibility of a third, but we're not looking past anything past 2 right now. It's a process that he's gonna take slow. We're gonna take slow. It's not something that we're going to rush for every other month to get him in a cage and make sure that he's fighting. We're going to make sure that he does his progressions, and walk through the sport and do it the right way, and not be in such a rush to reach the top. We're looking to stay with PXC for the next 3, 4, maybe even 5 years. And having him, get out there and do what he needs to do, take care of the right stuff. Walk away with his degree in hand and still have his career rolling. So, and the good thing is that he checked with his athletic director and before we made the decision, and he got the clearance from the athletic director that it's perfectly okay because it's a different sport. They referenced what is his name, Kaepernick, playing Major League Baseball, in Division 3A pro baseball, and is still playing football at the University of Nevada. So it was something. I didn't really think about, and Kai contacted me about it, and we took the next steps and reached out to PXC, and they were willing to take him in and still honor what they promised, and that's where we're at right now.
No, I know this might be looking kind of far ahead, but being that this is a 6-fight deal, what if best case scenario, he has a great performance, dominates. Have you guys, gone far as what might be next for him? Because I know you guys are the type that you guys really plan for everything. Have you guys thought that far ahead?
Are you talking as far as championships or future circuits?
Future
Uh,
circuits.
well, ultimately, his goal has always been to fight in the UFC. That's always I think that's everybody's goal. That's the Super Bowl of mixed martial arts. But Kai's been such an MMA guru that you can ask him what type of fight, who fought, when they fought, and he can tell you who won and how they won. Like, he's that in depth on the sport. He watches a lot of different guys, and his favorite fighter is Uriah. So actually, when he graduates from college, his plan is to move out into Sacramento and train out there down in Alpha Male. So he has a plan. It's something that he wants to get done, and probably when he's out in Nebraska where he's at now, he'll be making his way down to Jake Ellenberg's gym, and then I'll be going in, weeks prior to his fight and getting him, just fine tuning him up and giving him my pointers as well. So.
And being that you
But
have, oh, I'm sorry. Go ahead. Go ahead.
no, go ahead. That's fine.
Okay. And being that you brought up something that I was thinking about. I know it's a bit early. He hasn't even fought in PXC yet, but being that he's accomplished so much in his career, in his MMA career here in Hawaii, and all the titles that he has accumulated. Has there been talks about maybe possibly fighting for a title?
Well, the belt is always the goal. It's always the point to become the champion of circuit, and he has that mindset. He wants to do something. He wants to be the best at it, and not just okay. And he does all the extra stuff on his own. Like a lot of times, I wouldn't have to tell him to do stuff. He's up at 5 a.m. running. He'll punch more. He'll do the extra stuff. So definitely, the belt is a goal, but it's not something that we're gonna chase. We're like I said, we're gonna take this process slow. We're gonna grow with PXC, and embrace where we are, and show loyalty back to PXC and remain there for we plan on, like I said, we plan on being there the next 3, 4, 5 years for him. However long it takes for him to get at his highest point and get into that ultimate goal, which is the UFC. And then in that process, we're not gonna rush nothing. We have this concept of, we talked about it already, that there's no sense in rushing his career to the top, and then getting somewhere where he's not ready for it, and then working the rest of his career trying to fight his way back up to get into that big show. We want to get there, we want to stay there, and we want to retire there, basically finish out there.
Now, is there any other fighters from 808 Fight Factory that has big things coming up? We know you have a pretty deep camp where you're at right now. Is there any other fighters that we might be looking out for?
Oh yeah, most definitely. Roxy Mojica, he'll be making his way into the PXC division and the 125 division. Very excited to see him to get in there. Roxy's going to bring a whole new element, I think, to the division and the circuit. He's just got a heap of talent, and he's turning pro at the right age, at 25. So it's something that another process that we thought about and thoroughly talked about. The other guy I think you gotta watch out for would be Michael Abreu. Michael Abreu is making leaps and gains like by the weeks, and Michael will be stepping into the 145 division, and he's already huge for a 55er, so and he's just getting better by the day, the level of commitment that's there, the guy does strength and conditioning on Monday, jiu-jitsu, MMA, and he flips it over and does it again the next day. So, him and Ian been actually putting in a lot of hours, is trading hours for dollars, Our theme now, we kind of changed our motto is you can't have $1 million dream with a minimum wage work ethic. So basically, that's the focus the boys at. Ian De La Cuesta, we're brewing in some talks of different organizations right now, including PXC. So we're showing now a lifetime commitment and loyalty to PXC. That we want to let them know that we're here to support them and not forget what they've done for our guys, and basically build a foundation for the rest of our pipeline.
Mm-hmm.
And also Reno Remigio, he's breaking in there. He's on Reno's just coming off a big win off the #1 contender from PXC for the Korean top team. He was 5-0, and Reno stopped him. So Reno's up there. We got Bryson Kamaka that's back in action. Probably one of the most talented fighters in Hawaii. But it was just a little young. You hear Bryce's name, you think he's old and fought forever, but he's just been fighting since he was 16. He's 27. So, he's actually at a good prime age. So look for Bryce to be back at the 170 division. Chris Cisneros is another one that's he's a link to our gym. Chris is doing 808 Fight Factory out in Hilo, representing us out there. So, Chris, we have some stuff coming up for Chris. Just a whole bunch of guys that we got coming out. Zane's back this year, coming off his injury. Now he's all healed up. So kind of exciting. Alvin Walker, another 55-pounder that has a lot of athleticism. He's going to do a lot of good things. We have a whole bunch of guys that, the list goes on, and just the timing is everything. You know, the foundation that these other guys are laying, the boys are filling right in. You know,
Mm-hmm.
but you know, I would say that those are the guys that you know we got coming out, and looking forward to them guys get jumping in the cage.
Okay, it's always a pleasure talking with you. You know, we wish you the best of luck, you and your son and your whole family. In closing, is there anything you'd like to say to anybody that might be watching this?
Oh yeah, definitely. Most like to thank all his sponsors, people that's been around behind him from day one. You know, Trey Arceo from Fire Click. You know, Jonah from Alpha Campaign. Mike from Defend Hawaii. Mike Pono from Defend Hawaii. You know, just all his coaches. You know, Chris West, was his wrestling coach, his high school wrestling coach. You know, my sisters. You know, and brother-in-law Ron and Kim. You know, very instrumental people in his life as when he was a child. You know, and just everybody in general that helped him get to where he's gonna get. You know, the journey's not over, but I believe, you know, with the blessing of the favor that we've gotten already, you know, he's on the right path to be successful.